What's going on, guys? Welcome to our podcast, Walking Manifestator. I am your host, Alexa Peña, and in this podcast, I am on one mission and one mission only, and that is going to help you awaken your truest and highest self. Embrace and embody your true power and help you elevate to a completely new consciousness. A transformational journey with the Walking Manifestator you are born to be.
Sometimes we think that everything is falling apart. And I want you to really see what that means to you in your life, because maybe you're in a season where it feels like everything is crumbling. Sometimes we think that things are not working, that our manifestations are just not happening, that God isn't moving. And the truth is, a lot of the time, it's not that our blessings are actually not coming, is that without us realizing it, we are blocking them. Yesterday, while I was at a conference at my local church, and for those of you that know me, I am not here to push any religion down your throat. If you know me, then you know a little bit about my story, but for those of you that are new, I'll share with you guys again because it was something that really changed my life. I grew up in a Catholic family, but I didn't really believe in the things that I was taught simply because I felt very disconnected. I felt like the things that were happening in my life were an attack toward me directly. And I lost my way, to say the least. I lost my way. I went through a lot of turbulence at a young age. And there was a point in my life where I genuinely didn't believe in anything. Like I genuinely didn't believe that there was a God. And at this time, I didn't realize it. But what I was doing was actually trying to manifest a new life without realizing that that's what I was doing. And what do I mean by that? Because this is applicable to you. Maybe you're at a point where you really feel like things are crumbling. You really feel like it's the end all be all. You feel like you haven't been able to figure out your purpose. You feel like the relationship that you've been wanting hasn't came, or if it did come, it left. Maybe it's your kids that you're struggling with. Maybe it's your boss, your job, you name it. And maybe you feel like things really feel chaotic. And I didn't realize it then, what I realize now. But at that time, I hit what I felt was rock bottom. And I remember just asking God for a sign. I just wanted to know that there was something out there that was greater than me. And without realizing, God started moving in ways that I didn't expect. And you might be thinking, oh, things started getting really good, Alexa. Is that what you mean? No, shit hit the fan. Like things got very dark for a while. And it was like I was losing my friends that I thought were my friends. I realized that they were not actually good friends. I realized that the partner that I was with wasn't really a good partner for me. I started realizing the toxic relationship that I was in. I realized that I was in a very bad situation financially. Just everything that I was ignoring for such a long time. It was like in a blink of an eye, I could see the people around me for who they really were. And they started literally leaving my life. Some of them were intentional because I decided I no longer want it. Some of them weren't intentional, and I was really depressed about. And why this is important now that I didn't realize it then is that at that time, it felt like everything was falling apart. But the truth is that it was actually making space for the things that I was manifesting. And yesterday in the service, that's why I was sharing this with you, because I went from a place of not believing in anything to believing in God, because I've seen the miracles that have happened in my life. And I believe that God wants us to learn how to manifest and take the power that we have, because it's not about just saying, God, please help me fix my life. It's about you also taking accountability and how you can play a factor in fixing your life. I can't just tell God, God, make me skinny and fit and toned and never go to the gym and just pretend that God is going to make his magic happen, because that would be unrealistic. It takes you actually putting in the work. So when I was yesterday at church and we were hearing the pastor speak, he said something that really stood out to me that I realized is the exact thing that happened in my life. I had to let go of everything. Let go of the things that I thought I wanted, let go of the people that I thought I needed, let go of the expectations that I felt I needed to maintain. And in that process of letting go of everything, it made space for the new blessings that were coming into my life. And in I can't really say this word. Psalms, P-S-A-L-M, Psalms 23, I believe is what they pronounce it. But it really talks about this. It talks about how God leads us everywhere and we're never actually lacking anything. But when we try to control everything ourselves, this is where we block the flow from the blessings that He's trying to pour into our life. And this is really where we need to learn what spiritual alignment is. And I believe that when we can look for something outside of us that is bigger than what we are, bigger than what we understand, bigger than what we have been able to see, this is where we can really manifest a life that is extraordinary, that is supernatural, that everybody looks at and is like, how did that person make that happen? But you see, when we have so much gunk inside of our vessel, inside of this temple, our body, and maybe the gunk can be for you pornography. Maybe the gunk can be getting drunk to the point where you don't remember what you're doing. Maybe it can be substance abuse. Maybe it can be far worse things. And I'm not sitting here from a place of judgment because trust me, I haven't been the person that I am all my life. And I have my fair share of things that I've been through that if I look back at, I could sit here and start reminiscing and saying, wow, I can't believe I did those things. Shame on me. But you know what? I actually realize now that the things that I've done, they're only a mistake when you don't learn anything from them. And I do believe that God allows us to experience certain moments in our life that bring us to our knees. And those moments are really what redefine us. They say that, iron sharpens iron, and sometimes we need to go through the fire in order for us to become iron. So when I share this perspective from you and I'm talking to you about the perspective of, hey, maybe all the gunk you have in your life is what's actually blocking your manifestation, it is not from a place of judgment. It's from a place of helping you maybe gain the clarity that sometimes we lack. I don't know if it's happened to you, but it's definitely happened to me where you eat something and you don't realize that you have something in your teeth and you're like walking around and then you realize later that you had something in your teeth and you're like, why didn't nobody tell me? I would have taken this thing out of my teeth. Now I'm super fixed on that. And now I make sure that I'm like looking at myself in the mirror and I'm like, do I have something in my teeth? I need to make sure I don't have anything on my teeth. But maybe the things that I'm bringing up to you right now is that something in your teeth. Maybe the things that I'm talking about, because if you would have told me a few years ago, like before 2023, that drinking is something that was keeping me from reaching my potential, I would have rolled my eyes at you. And I would have said, honestly, you don't know what you're talking about. And I think that you're a boring person. You just don't know how to have a good time. And you're too much of a perfectionist. You're trying to control everything. And honestly, I could care less about what you have to share with me. But I realized that every time I would drink, and again, this is something that I'm being vulnerable and sharing with you because maybe it can help you identify what's that gunk that's blocking your manifestation. Maybe it's overeating for you. But for me, when I would drink, I would become a different person. And I wasn't always like this like aggressive person. But I remember every time I would drink, I would think about the darkest moments of my life. And if somebody that, I was getting along with would bring something up that I didn't really want to talk about, and maybe this could have been like a loved one, like a partner or something along those lines, it would rub me the wrong way. And I would get defensive over it. And if I talk about this now, being sober, honestly, I have no shame on the things that have happened to me, where I come from, the things that I've done, because I believe that every single thing that I've experienced, that God has allowed me to experience, has made me who I am today. So for me to share this with you, it's for you to recognize that a lot of the times we need somebody that is willing to tell us the truth. Maybe for you, it's just that you're not disciplined enough. I talk to people sometimes that they want something better out of life. I have somebody that is very dear to me in my life right now, and I care about them. I want the best for them. And I see their potential. I see what they're worth. I see how intelligent they are. But deep down, they haven't learned how to value their time and their energy accordingly, and they're willing to get paid less for what they actually should be getting paid. And it breaks my heart to see that, because I have so much faith in these, in this particular individual. But at the end of the day, it's not my journey. It's not my chapter. It's not my life to live. And I need to let that person realize that on their own. So maybe for you, you're so consumed by trying to make somebody else walk the path that you think is perfect for them and is best for them. But what do you know about that? Maybe the path they need to walk through right now is exactly the path that they need to take. And this is where us emptying our vessel, us being vulnerable enough to say, you know what? I'm not going to make this about me. I am going to allow for these moments where I'm trying to micromanage everything, and I'm just going to trust the process. When we refuse to release control, this is where we block our manifestations from happening. Because you're so attached to the situation, and you're so attached to how the situation should unfold, that if life hits you with the bag of bricks, giving you literally a completely different way that it could unfold, you're so fixed on how you think it should unfold that you miss the opportunity that is literally staring at you right in the face. And I've done this. So I want to share it because I believe that sometimes we're so emotionally dependent on the outcome, right? We feel that we need more money in order to feel worthy, that we need more validation in order for us to feel safe. Maybe we feel that we need a relationship in order for us to actually feel complete. And this is really where, if you can understand that attachment is actually creating resistance, well, then detachment is what creates movement. Maybe for you, it's fear-based thinking. You're constantly worrying about what's going to happen. You're constantly in scarcity mindset. You're constantly talking negatively about yourself or others. How can you receive abundance while you're constantly focusing on lack? Or maybe it's overconsumption of the world. The noise, the social media, the comparison, the hustle culture. When your mind is full of noise, there is no room for the divine guidance that God is trying to pour into you. So this is really where my last points that I'm going to share with you end, because I think that this is something that's really going to help you level up in this year. We need to learn how to make space for the supernatural. Think about it this way. God is not forcing himself into this crowded heart. He moves in stillness and surrender and openness. And making space looks like maybe turning off distractions for you. Sitting in silence, journaling, praying, taking moments to breathe, to practice meditation, to sit with your thoughts, to be present. And this is really where, for my girls especially, remember that feminine energy is what receives. Masculine energy is what execute. And both must work together. So it's not just about always go, go, go. And it's not always about just relax, relax, and don't do anything. There has to be a perfect balance in order for the two to actually work in harmony and allow you to really receive the blessings of God. And this is why I started off by sharing and being a little open with you guys about the fact that I'm not here to push a religion down your throat. I'm not here to tell you what to believe in, but I will share my own testimony. And my own testimony is that when I didn't believe in anything other than myself, and other than, honestly, not even myself, because I wasn't really getting the work done. So it was kind of like I felt hopeless. I felt like the victim. At that time, things really felt really dark. And I just want to remind you that dark energy feeds off of dark energy. So if you're in a place right now where you feel like, no, Alexa, I just count on myself and that's all. I don't need anybody else. I don't need to believe in anything. I don't need to believe in the supernatural. If that's you, then hey, if that has been working for you and you truly feel fulfilled, then go at it. But there's a big chance that you don't feel fulfilled, because I've been there. So I'm not speaking from hearsay. I'm talking from experience. And if you can let your ego down long enough to accept that, just maybe you can ask for guidance and just ask God, if you're really real, like show me, and humble me enough to be able to see. Because sometimes the blessings are literally staring at us right in the face, but we don't want to see them. And the last thing here is that really manifestation is going to require for you to remove some of those blocks in order for them to really happen in your life when it comes to the manifestation you want. That could be your old habits, your old relationships, your old identities, your old beliefs, anything that really hasn't been helping you get to the next level. And I really want you to ask yourself this question. What are you holding on to right now that is no longer serving you? Maybe it's a belief that you had when you were a child that your parents told you that money doesn't grow on trees and that money is hard to come by. Therefore, it's really hard for you to make money. Maybe it's a belief geared around the fact that there is no true friends and therefore it's really hard for you to make friends. Maybe it's a belief geared around everybody leaves and you can't trust anybody because that's a belief you grew up with. I'm naming a few of the ones that were big ones on my book. And if you can just understand that those beliefs are not true, they're simply a belief. And the definition of fear, okay, write this down, is false evidence appearing real. It's not even true. It's just our head. Our head is so freaking powerful when we give it the power that it doesn't care what other information or evidence there is. It just focuses on what you said that we should focus on. And it focuses on the negative for the most part until you start training it. And this is why I talk so much about internal work, because when you can work on internal work, it is going to help you get to the next level a lot easier. Is everything perfect? No, far from it. But it does feel a lot easier, especially when you believe in something greater than you. Especially when you trust this divinity and you say, you know what, God, if this is for me, show me it's for me. And walk the walk. Don't just sit there on your couch and expect for a bunch of money to show up in your bank account. Take inspired action, because guess what? Imperfect action is better than no action. So if things have been feeling stuck, you're not failing. It just means it's time to let go of some of the things that are keeping you from reaching that next destination. So with that being said, thank you so much for sticking around with me. Thank you for being part of the community. Thank you for those of you that continue to show up every time I see that the episode was downloaded. You guys are the reason why I keep showing up. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. You guys mean the world to me. And if there's anything in specific that you guys would like to talk about, share it in our school community or talk about it on our Instagram page or send us an email directly. Whatever tickles your boat, okay? And remember, if nobody has told you this today, I love you. And I'll talk to you on the next one.
Thank you so much for watching yet another episode of Walking Manifestator. And with that being said, I want to remind you, visualize, embody, and transcend. Be the walking manifestator you are born to be.